Outside of the restaurant, I'm just a horrible person, basically. Now, just kidding. Outside of the restaurant, I'm just a Samoan trying to survive. Instead of envy, kindness now becomes something I can work on. It's a muscle for me. So I put myself in situations where I know my character defects will flare up, and I just...
As Pacifica people, why do we always, it's not me, nah. What is that? Because our culture is...
I used to think it was the culture, or it's an outside thing that, it was all me. I'm just the freaking prideful, egotistical maniac that's like, oh, no, please look at me at a better light. You know, it has nothing to do with anybody else. What I'm always grateful for is people that have come to New Zealand before me and made this such an easy task. Like the work they have done, like nobody bats an eye that a Samoan restaurant is opening up in Parnell.
Your wife, she's not Samoan, eh?
No, she's from Massachusetts.
Cool. So tell us a little about her, because we haven't got it. She sounds
man, we
like
ran out of time. I was over here telling everybody I did all this by myself, and
I get in trouble.
I said I saw, son.
Mandate. Hi everyone, if you are enjoying the content and the guests that are on the podcast and you're wanting more, then please do us a favor. If you can just press the subscribe button, that would be an amazing help for us. But also, just want to mention an amazing organization called AOK, who sponsors the Mandate podcast. And so they are an organization that runs suicide prevention, intervention, and wellbeing programs. And so AOK stands for Acts of Kindness. And so you didn't need me to tell you about the alarmingly high rates of suicide in our nation, especially amongst our rangatahi, our young people, even our tane, our men. And so if you're wanting to stand in the gap and you want to be well trained and well equipped to have these courageous life supporting conversations, then please check them out, aok.nz. If you're a business, a company, or a collective, or even as an individual, check them out, www.aok.nz. You could very well be that one person to help save a life. Welcome to Mandate, where we navigate fresh perspectives and nothing is off the table. Tonight's guest is from Tāmaki Makaurau, but originally born and raised in a place called the Cradle of Polynesia, also known as the Sacred Centre, but also better known to us nowadays as 685 baby. Samoa represent. But now the man resides in Aotearoa, New Zealand with his lovely wife. He's also a renowned chef. He's also a finalist of the Lewis Ham Innovation Award in 2004, but also the same year was a finalist in the Hospitality New Zealand Awards of Excellence Chef of the Year in 2004. The man started his cooking career in Samoa, but also went to Hawaii, spent some time in Hawaii, also spent some time in the US of A in Florida. But in recent times, the man just started his own restaurant called Tala, and it was due to a visitation in the Tāmaki Makaurau restaurant called Meredith. So props to Michael Meredith. And so the whole thing has just changed its trajectory. The man has started his own restaurant called Tala with his lovely wife. But the man is an amazing individual, has an amazing story to share. Please put your hands together for the one and only Henry Onesemo!
I want to wake up in the morning and hearing that. Can I get a clip of that? So save.
Oh, Uso, no, thank you.
That was awesome. Thank you. Everything he said is true. Just so you guys know. My name is Henry. I'm from Samoa. I was born in American Samoa, but from Malu Wharealili. And now I live in Auckland, New Zealand. Thank you for having me, guys. Really do appreciate it.
Oh, thank you for coming on. We appreciate it. Obviously, you're a chef, and people think, okay, well, let's start the ball rolling with talking about your career and then culinary and also your journey as a chef. But I wanted to shoot off the bat up, Henry. And before kind of touching into the restaurant in Tala, but who was Henry? I think for those who are not familiar with who you are, and who's Henry? Who's the chef? So who was Henry outside of the kitchen and outside of the business space? Can you tell us a little bit about who you are as an individual outside of Tala?
Me outside of Tala? Oh, man. I'm Samoan. Going through, outside of the restaurant, I'm just a horrible person, basically. Now, just kidding. I'm lost. I don't know what that is. But no, on a serious note, though, outside of the restaurant, just a Samoan trying to survive. Not in the sense that I'm in a struggle where I'm wanting for things or anything like that. But just just a daily routine of things. The monotonous of that life can be when you get to a certain point. I'm just really diving into that right now at the moment. Other than that, I'm just I'm just another person trying to make it through life. The restaurant, being a chef, it's something that allows me to practice certain things that I want to work on myself. And hopefully by the end of this interview, I probably still won't have the answer of who I am. Because I feel like that's a lifetime journey for me. I'm focused on improving a little bit. It's more about progression, less about perfection. That ideal person that I want to be is, that picture probably changes every day. So it's really why it's kind of hard to answer, a question like that for somebody like me, like who am I outside of the kitchen? But, it's like if I were to wake up in the morning, I identify immediately with the person that's in the mirror. Whatever that is in the morning, I take it in, and then I work towards the better version of that. Most days is, man, it's a struggle just to get out of bed, like, Jesus, today again, oh my gosh, it seems like it was just yesterday. But, I'm a lot more comfortable with the image in the mirror in the morning. Some days it's harder, to deal with. But, I have I follow a spiritual journey that, allows me to just turn over those, character flaws, that I see. And then, I work towards the, making the right choice to stay on the virtuous side. Mm-hmm. For me, inherently, I identify with the opposite of those virtues. And I attack that in the morning as soon as I wake up. Whether it be greed, envy, lust, sloth, especially sloth, like the snooze. The sweet thing, the sweet. Nah. Being lazy is not like just lying around too. Like, for me, like being lazy is like, let's say there's an email that I have to write, right? And my wife comes over and says, "Hey, do you want to climb Mount Everest instead?" I'm like, "Yes, let's do that." For me, that's being lazy. Like, I'll do the hardest task to avoid the one that I have to do. We want to go dig a hole for? Okay, let's do that instead. Forget the email. But things like that. That's basically, I know it's not an answer to the question, but that's what I'm still trying to answer that question. I know we spoke about getting me back on the podcast after this. Again.
we part two already. Yeah.
I think the next one, the next podcast.
On that one, we'll definitely.
We'll have to shoot it at the restaurant next time.
Oh, nice.
I reckon that'd be cool. Shoot it at the restaurant with some food on the table.
Oh man! But
Awesome.
I appreciate it. I like the honesty. I love your honesty. And I love the answer as well, because some people think, some people think you have to come and think, I got it all together. This is who I am, and this is what my life is, and all that kind of stuff. Because you're doing some obviously, and I know we talked about earlier. You said, I'm not doing this. I'm not doing things that are amazing, but you are. For us, you're doing some cool stuff in terms of you owning your own restaurant, your entrepreneur, your businessman, but also just spreading the waving the flag, so to speak, of our people. And so You know, it is about personal development, learning each day and going throughout each day and figuring out who you are in each day. And I love that your honesty as well. So, and so
Yeah.
in terms of finding who you are and who you are as a person, and then now because you're the owner and the head chef of Tala. Also, how does that all kind of work together with you as the head chef and trying to figure out all these things whilst you're the captain of the ship, so to speak?
Yeah, I mean, I think, that's why it's really important for me to work on those things that I just spoke about earlier, especially my character flaws. Because if I don't, especially when you put somebody like me in a position of power, owning your own restaurant, now you're responsible for people, and somebody like me can easily exploit that. Somebody that's, because like I said, like I'm really rife with those character deflaws, like greed, especially pride. Like I am like I always wanted people to think I'm a good person. Like growing up, like I presented this nice person that I thought everybody liked. But lately, I've been realizing, no, I'm on the opposite end of the spectrum. Like for me, I'm instinctively on the greed side of things. I'm not on the charitable side of things. Like I'm on the prideful side of things. I'm not on the humility type of thing, side of things. So for me, every day, I have to consciously work to stay on, on that spectrum, on the other side, and being in charge of people or in a position of power. The struggle then becomes really hard. Like let's take anger. Instead of like patience is so hard for me. Like patience is so hard. Especially in a position of where you're giving direction. You have an idea of what you are trying to do. You have a goal that you want to accomplish, and you have to be patient. But it's so hard for me. Like my wife, for her, this is easy. It's just she's very patient. She's not. She's very charitable. With time, money, everything. She's she's just naturally a good person. For me, it's a struggle. And so being in that position of power, and when you're trying to deal with all of that, it's so hard. Like when I wake up in the morning, I'm like, okay, all right, let's try our best not to kill anybody, not to hurt anybody, not to, because, that's what happens, not to scream in traffic, because it's just, it's not healthy for me. It's not healthy for anybody. And I know that, it's, if less people are, hurt, the better I feel. It sucks because I wish I wasn't so sensitive, to then way I could just hurt people and not be, going home and not care. Like, dude, why did you, why you said all my defaults that way and then make me sensitive at the same time, but that's just the way it is, If let's say we go to a birthday party, right, and there's a cake, my wife would be like, "Oh, I wonder what kind of cake that is." Me, I'm like, "Oh, I know in the middle of that cake is the best part. I want to get that." Also, I wonder if I can have 4 pieces, or hopefully I'll get a table next to the cake so I can be the first one and the last one. Like, all these things go into my head, but I'm always like, "Oh, what's going on over there?" Nothing. Just thinking about the cake. But she'll just focus on, oh, I wonder what the cake is. That's me and my struggle,
Wow. That's pretty powerful for somebody to be that aware you know, to be really aware of where you sit on that spectrum. And I can imagine your awareness has come from somewhere.
Yeah.
You know, like something's happened for you to kind of recognize that I need to be mindful of these things and I need to manage it. And I just wonder whether, I wonder where that's come from. Has it come from you being a business owner, you recognizing your dream and kind of going, yep, I want to pursue this. But as you know that you're able to pursue this, you also know what comes with it. Yeah. So just sort of, or whether it's something else.
No, I mean, I've always felt like this ever since I was a kid. And doing this in Samoa, like, you know, like let's say Christmas, you know, like, you know, there's 5 of us boys, you know, my parents were always there, and they would get gifts, right? But I always wanted, you know, not my brother's gifts or anything like that. I just wanted their happiness. Like, oh my gosh, like, why are they so happy? So I would, you know, I would take their, you know, their gifts, but not so that, you know, not for them to, not because I wanted the gift. I just wanted them to not be as happy, you know.
Where do you sit in the 5 boys? Like,
I'm in the middle.
Oh, you're middle child.
Yeah.
Oh.
So I'm like, dude, like, I've always been like this, and I've always been aware of it. I'm on my 3rd marriage right now, you know, like, you know, yeah, dude, like, it's just now I'm more aware of it, and then I know exactly what they are, and it's really hard. Like, it's so hard. Like, some mornings I wake up, I don't even want to, you know, I don't want to deal with it. The easiest thing will be to avoid people. Like, or I think, you know, to avoid people in general, but then, you know, those feelings are still there, you know, like you're not exercising the choice, which is more important to me, is that putting yourself in situations where I exercise that muscle, you know, instead of envy, kindness now becomes something I can work on. Like, it's a muscle for me. Like I literally, choose to do it, you know, every day.
That's cool.
So I put myself in situations where I know my character defects will flare up, and I just, you know, exercise.
Do you have like a chart or something? like do you have a visual? Because it sounds like, as you talk about this, it sounds like to me you have a bit of it sounds like to me there's a chart and a spectrum. Yeah. Like on one end is like all of that 7 sins, and then on the other end is the opposite of that, or the fruits of the spirit, or I don't know what we want to call it. But do you have a spectrum, or is it just something that you read on? Yeah,
I mean, I probably have like my own way of looking at it. Let's say pride, right? On the opposite end, the virtue would be humility, right? If you go any further than that, you can probably go to self-loathing. You don't want to do that, you know. Yeah. And then if you bring it back towards, you know, humility, then you were probably at confidence. Confidence is there, right? I think if I make it to, you know, come away from pride to confidence, it's okay. But humility, you know, that's when you're taking yourself away from, let's say, a compliment, right? If you compliment me, I'll say, oh, thank you. And I think that is confidence. But if you say, oh, you did a good job, I'm like, that's all the man above. I'm removing myself from the situation and complimenting the rightful person that, you know, that has created whatever, you know, you're complimenting. For me, you know, I would rather be there. But most of the time, my instinct is like, oh, thank you. Yeah, it's good. I appreciate that. You know,
that's cool.
Yeah,
it's interesting.
I like
it. It is so interesting as well. Even as we're having this conversation, also, because not a lot of men would like to talk about their defects. You know, the character defects. You know, a lot of people, I don't want to talk about that. You always, like you were saying early on, that people like to, from the outset, from the onset, like, oh, this person looks great. He's awesome. He's got everything to put together, all that kind of stuff. But when you're kind of talking about the nitty gritty, like, these are my flaws. These are the one I'm not good at. This is what I'm terrible at, and all that kind of stuff that people don't want to talk about or share because it makes them look bad. But I'm glad you're actually kind of touching on this, because I think we need to have a good conversation around all this in terms of character flaws or character defects. And so what better way to do that and to train that and to kind of work it out while being in the kitchen,
Yeah, it is. For me, that's where I'm like, for me, it's the one place where everything gets, you get to practice all those things. Like, like.
Have you lost it? Have you lost it, Henry? Or you just like, man, you like,
Gosh,
What does a day look like for you from start to finish? Like, to incorporate what you were saying, Patia.
Which one?
What does your day look like from start to finish in the restaurant, in the kitchen, in your trade?
So I would get to the restaurant like around 8:00. So what I've been doing lately, and I know it's a little bit avoiding, which is bad. So what I would do is what I'm doing right now is I go in early, and when the team starts coming in, I'm finishing up my prep at around 2:00. I go home for a reset, and come back at 4, and then I work all the way until we finish.
Which is what time?
Most nights is around 11, but on 10:30. 10 to 11 on the beginning of the week. At the end of the week, we do a deep clean, and I'm at home at around, I would say, 3:00. Me and the boys, we go out for chai in Sandringham after we clean up. So, yeah, it's pretty cool.
It's pretty full on, and I guess that's where practicing all of the virtues that you were talking about. It's a great space to be able to do that, eh?
Yeah, it is. I feel like it's like cooking is saved me in a lot of ways, especially when it comes to that kind of thing. Exercising that, especially self-awareness, and knowing exactly what I need to work on to be better, because at some point, it's, if I don't work on that stuff, all the stuff that I'm trying to do within the restaurant or anything goes on the wayside. If I'm working on a dish and I haven't, I'm not exercising, making the right choices, it'll never be done. Like, I will never finish that dish. It'll probably taste horrible.
Wow.
Because it will.
That's crazy.
Because I haven't given it everything that it deserves. Chefs will say, just take yourself out of the dish. Take myself out. Look at it from a different perspective. And so, yeah, just being a chef allows me ample opportunity to practice those. And I feel like it's helped me out a lot, especially as a business owner. When you're putting everything that you have on the line for this, because me and my wife don't have any investors, we don't, it's just us doing this by ourselves. It's, you have to know you have to know your character defects, so every decision, what motivation it is that you're using for that decision, and it needs to be an instinct. You cannot be like, oh, let me go meditate on it for a little bit. Which, sometimes I am afforded the chance to go and meditate over something, but when it's happening in real life, it's not. You need to exercise all those. You need to figure out what it is that you are, that causes you problems, and work on that. And I found for me, it's my character defects that usually mess it up. Yeah.
So, I mean, I'm really fascinated now because, and I think when we were talking with Michael Meredith, we were highlighting that the pressures, from the moment the restaurant is open to the moment it's closed, the pressure is on. Yeah. Unlike an All Black game, you've only got 40 minutes first half, 40 minutes second half, that's it. And their pressure points is pretty, I would say, almost at the same level, because you're having to make decisions under the pressure points. Yeah. And you can't just say, I need to go have time to meditate. You actually have to switch on the moment to be able to make sound decisions for the team, but in your case, for the dishes that are meant to be served at a level of quality that your guests are paying for, because where you sit in the market as well is not, you're in a place where you're, the people coming because they love the food that you produce and they're happy to pay the extra dollar for it.
Yeah.
And so how do you, so all of that stuff you do in the morning contributes to that. But when the pressure, starts to build up, because I can't imagine every day's the same day, when it starts to build up, like how are you staying grounded? Like how are you staying in a place where you can still think clearly?
So for one thing for us is it's a very open kitchen. So everybody is there. They can see everything. Every mistake, every eyebrow raised, they can see everything to the minute detail. And so, for me, I have to be grounded before service starts. All the work happens before and after, so that during service, there's nothing new. Like what it is, we burnt something. Oh no! Somebody has to wait a little bit longer to get something out. I then assess what that will do. For most chefs, if something like that happens, they're probably feeling like, oh, the restaurant is going to close now because of a bad review, because of all these things that haven't happened yet. They're probably going through it right at that exact moment. They have, for most chefs that I see flip out, they have, they have thought of everything that could happen and will happen because of that one wrong decision, and then they've lost the moment where the guest needs to be fed first. If there is a bad review tomorrow, that's tomorrow's problem. Stress about it tomorrow. Please, just get through what you're doing right now because you're fucking up. Why are you stressing about tomorrow? Just
no.
Relax and do this. That's pretty much what most chefs are stressing about. Is this would ruin them. Well, it hasn't yet. You have a responsible to somebody that just, for me, I have a responsible to somebody that's just paid $200, probably, and the restaurant is, 50% Samoan every night.
Wow.
Yeah.
Jeez.
So it's like, they are saving money. This might be a special occasion most of the time, it's a birthday, it's a anniversary. They've chosen to come to eat at Tala, and the chef is flipping out, dude. Get it together. Nobody's dying. We're not trying to save lives here. Nobody's dying. You're the only one dying, and you're killing the service. You need to calm down. So all that pressure is really is when the chef has lost the moment and lost what he's supposed to do, which is give people a good experience. He's lost the ability to empathize with a celebration that's going on which is far more important than your reputation. It's so when that happens. In my restaurant it's open space, so that helps too. I can do nobody has grown up with a Samoan, the talk with the eyes.
The eyes, the side eyes.
Yeah, the ones that you get at church. You
just go look.
When you're standing up, look for your suit, your eyes, or something. And then you get down and no. Nobody understands that language. But doing the work before and doing the work afterwards really does help out when you're in the moment, so you don't lose it. And for me, that's probably the most important work. And then the restaurant secondary.
That's cool. It's like your pre-game prep.
Yeah.
Hey, that you sort of go through with your affirmations, you're just looking in the mirror. That's so awesome, and it's so in depth, and it's so intentional.
I wish when you see in the like TikTok stories, oh, I am the best. And then I want your mirror, bro, because my mirror says you are greedy. You are
You're a liar.
You're a liar. You are pepelo.
This is funny.
Yeah.
You know, I want to know Henry. I want to know Henry because I don't know. I'm just speculating. Are there ever times? And I'm sure there may be a time, or maybe you can give us some examples, or an example of a time where you're trying to regulate your emotions, your character flaw, whatever it is. But there's a day, at a specific time, you're like, man, you just lost it. Like, what the heck are you doing? Was it ever a time where that could have happened?
Yep. Absolutely.
When you were human.
Yeah. So just moving into the where I'm at right now, right? The previous tenant of the space that I took over had problems with the neighbor upstairs. And so, when I moved in, like we're unpacking a lot of stuff, like new equipment is coming in. So there's a lot of boxes in in our trash area. And she just, she saw me outside and she went off on me like, oh, she showed pictures of, this doesn't go in here. And, you're supposed to take this out on Thursday and this and that. She had a point. But I just lost it at her. I just went off. My wife was there and she calmed me down. One of my friends was there to calm me down. And we're doing this in a walkway, that we're so it's outside everybody, and I'm just this Samoan guy that just signed the lease is screaming on the top of his lungs. It happens. Like, again, progression instead of perfection.
She's still your neighbor?
Yeah, I apologized to her the next
Okay,
day because I almost fussy his friend that was trying to help. Yeah, bro. So yeah.
So when you look Mexican, they're like, oh no, he's Samoan.
Yeah. So yeah, that was one example. Yeah. I mean, that's just sometimes you don't hold it together, and it comes out. And I have to be willing to apologize to her the next day just so I can move forward. Because now she's very nice. She hasn't complained yet, and she smiles. She says hello. We have a
Cool.
Karen. Nah, you look Karen.
Oh my gosh.
Man, you've had quite a journey so far.
I was like, oh, the headline's gonna read opening a restaurant while Samoan.
But it's so cool, Henry, because it's not a topic that people like to talk about. I don't know, maybe. But for me personally, it's not a topic that as men, or even, I don't know, to sure if Carol as women, but more so men. We don't talk about our character flaws. And I like that you talk about the spectrum, where the arrogance and then humility or self-loathing.
Yeah.
And so the spectrum. And you said that you like to be more in the middle, or were you more the confident? And when people compliment you, you say, hey, thank you. Or did you say that, hey, nah, it's not me, it's God?
Yeah, I want to be at humility, because I always do extra. Yeah, it's that extra that gets into that self. It seems like you're self-loathing when you're like, oh no, it's not. It's nothing. It's nothing special. It's if I know it's something special, I should probably take the compliment and then say thank you and move on. But sometimes I struggle with that, and so I go into the other end of the spectrum. But it's the same line. You're trying to appear something that you're not, and it's still prideful. No matter what it is that no matter how, when you try to overdo humility, it's so ugly. like, bro.
Can you give us an example?
Oh, no. This is sorry, please. No. So, yeah.
But that's true. I like that. Maybe we could touch on that because why do we do that? Because I found myself doing that in the past. But why do we do that? Even as Pacifica people, why do we? No, it's not me. Nah, what is that? Is it just because our culture is obviously must be learned behavior? But why do we do that in particular?
I used to think it was culture, or like I used to think it's an outside thing that it was all me. I'm just the freaking prideful, egotistical maniac that's like, oh no, please look at me at a better light. It's absolutely nothing to do with anybody else. Like it's nobody that's trying to. It's not your upbringing. It's not
religion. It's just you trying to look good.
It's just me. I looked at that mirror this morning and I said, bro, you are the Mika Fasala. And then, just try to be humble, try to be, try and accomplish humility, and don't overdo it and go, oh, no, please, oh, yeah, wait.
Yeah, because you can still be humble and say thank you.
Yeah, so that's the exercise for me, especially with just, oh, thank you. I appreciate that, and move on. When I spend too much time in there, I know what I'm doing. Like, I know you're trying to milk this. You're trying to, no. More.
Is it a part of your leg that you pinch?
It's so horrible because, I know I'm that guy, like, hey, how are you doing? I'm good. How are you? Ah, very nice. Enough about me. Let's talk about you. What do you think about me?
Oh, man.
It's so... I'm not perfect, but I'm close. That guy, and it's.
Man, I love what you've just said. I love your honesty about that, man.
You flipped it around, and it's oh man, that's so true. You probably watching those viewers and listeners. Oh man, you're giving away too much of the secrets, man, Henry, man. Or some of them might be feeling a bit awkward. Oh man, is that true for me? And so a lot of us.
Don't feel awkward. No, you shouldn't. You should lean into it. Like find out what that is for you. You know. Because I used to think it was something you commit, like a sin that you commit, like it's an actionable thing, like like sinning is an action, like until I found out, I'm like, actually, I could sit at home and feel pride. I can feel all those things without even leaving the house. It's like, oh my gosh,
and you're already in it.
Yeah, it's there. No, like I could be alone in solitude somewhere and still feel all of these things. It has nothing to do with anybody outside of me. It's what I've noticed for me, that's just what I've noticed for me. And I think if people out there are feeling like that, or especially men, it's okay, man. That means you can work on that. That's, it's actually, you can literally work it out like like you do at the gym. It's just like any other muscle that you can, or a craft that you constantly work on, and you can get better. It'll get bigger and better,
So how do you deal with that? Because obviously now, because it seems like you're really enlightened now in terms of your emotional intelligence now, Henry. And how do you deal with individuals when like, oh my gosh, I know what this guy is. I can see that. I used to be that way. I understand what he's trying to do, or maybe quite manipulative. How do you deal with those individuals now when you're talking to them? You're like, oh my gosh, or do you just kind of like cut it right there?
Yeah, you can always boundaries is one thing. Having clear boundaries helps out both sides. But it's not my job to change people. I can say something. I can suggest something, but it's not my job to carry them. I can only say what I need to say, and when they want to change, is the only way somebody will change. I need to feel empathetic towards that thing. So if they're manipulative, I'm like, oh man, I know how that feels. Man, you must struggle too when you go home. It's all right, bro. Try again tomorrow. You know, that will be my inside dialogue. You know, I know what that feels like. It's okay. One day he'll learn. Not today, but you know, hopefully soon.
But I think the work that you do, like the work that you invest time and intention around doing, when people do present themselves that way, you don't actually have to say anything. You just have to do you.
Yeah.
And what normally happens is they'll just mimic that because they'll start thinking, oh, I was trying to do pride on this dude, and this dude's not even moving on that. Like, he's not even trying to one up me.
Yeah.
So why would I even want to continue that when? And so they naturally will tone themselves down, eh?
Yeah. And sometimes encouragement is another bad thing I used to do. Like, I would encourage people. It's so bad. Like, kitchens can be very competitive. I'd encourage, like, you know, bad behavior and bad like dishes and things like that, just to watch them burn, you know, like, oh yeah, bro, that's a good idea, bro, do that, yes, keep going, never stop. Yeah, I'd rather just that is something that's, you know, a trait that I you know, is from that envy part of things. So instead of being so envious that you would encourage that, just be kind. Like, just say how you feel. You don't have to shut them down. Like, you know, you don't have to calm down on them. Like, bro, your idea sucks. You just say, have you tried this? Have you tried that? Kindness, empathy works a lot better than, you know, indulging in, you know, in my character flaws. Because I like to indulge in those. Like, you guys been angry, like, you know, sometimes, like, oh man, that felt so good. Like, there's a certain righteousness that you feel when you're angry at somebody. Like, you sit on a high horse and like, yeah,
righteous anger.
Yeah, but I just said,
yeah,
you see
exactly.
me? Yeah.
Man, whew.
Hate that stuff. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, I just had a thought that just left my head, but where I was going with that thought was around the encouragements.
Yeah.
Is because you know, you kind of hear people encourage you, but you can hear that it's like flattery talk.
Yeah.
Hey, they're just blowing smoke up your bum, and you kind of just go, come on, man. Just be real with me. And I didn't actually think much deep around it. Like, I usually go, you know, in my head, I'm like, oh yeah, that's flattery talk. I really don't need that crap. However, you have highlighted something for me that for some people, there's this, I mean, I don't know if it is, it might be self-esteem issues, but it might be envy as well. That kind of, that, you know, that really, you know, like push that kind of engagement that people have, you know, and they're going, oh, you're so amazing, oh man, this, and then you're just like, shut up. Like, in your head, you're like, shut up, like, that's not even like real, it's not like realistic. There's no evidence to support what you're saying. Like, I could turn around and say, where's your evidence? Yeah. And then they'd be like, you know, doing the haka, trying to find some evidence.
Just man.
Yeah.
No, but I like what you're saying, because, you know, rather than, because I get frustrated, I always go, why are you doing that? When you're highlighting that for some people, and I don't want to judge, because it's going to be different for everyone, eh? There's a reason why they do that. Yeah. And maybe I'm just trying to think, like, what's the way to
No. I mean, like, you know, there are some people out there that do give, you know, probably genuine, you know, compliments. For me, when I was, you know, at, you know, like, before I started working on things and stuff like that, you know, one of the things I used to do is using compliments to, you know, get them to fail, you know. So you just have to watch out for that, you know. Yeah. Because, you know, I'm really sneaky like that, you know, with the oh yeah, oh that's really good. It was, oh wow, man, you should do that again, like, you know.
And there's a real, I don't know, but people don't realize there's danger in that, because it's like a dopamine hit for them. Yeah. Hey, and we know once you get your dopamine hit, people are like, done it, made it, don't go any further, and then you end, and then you win. Yeah. That's interesting. Yeah.
And yeah, one of the things I used to do is if I would suggest an idea and let somebody would take it, I'm like, I know I spend more time on that idea than he will ever will. Like I've spent, probably 2 years on it before I even said it out loud, and then just watch him go with it, hoping they would fail. Like it's, that's just horrible.
Yeah.
But he's like, oh yeah, do it. Like, just everywhere, just watch the motivations behind things, especially the things that for me, it's watching the motivations on the things that I'm doing, because it comes back to bite you in the end. When you're, again, sitting by yourself and you're having that self-reflection and you're like, oh shit, damn, that's horrible actually.
That's good, man. That's good.
Yeah,
That's really good. You know what's so cool about this, Henry, is because you're going in deep, because you're revealing some stuff in terms of revealing things about yourself, and just out to the public. And so you're just like, hey, man, I'll say this just because of envy, and I'm quite envious, just to maybe see them the downfall of this individual. And so being in the industry that you were in terms of the restaurants, I know you can be quite competitive as well. So. How do you kind of stay afloat, especially with those emotions? I mean, you see other, for example, let's see another restaurant is doing really well, and you're like, oh my gosh, they're doing better than me. How do you still kind of maintain or contain yourself in terms of the character flaws and still not be turned to what you used to or what you normally would do?
Yeah. So I think the easiest way for me is just to look inwards at what the restaurant is doing. Like now for me, I know that, my happiness cannot be tied to the restaurant's success. And so, if I tie everything, like, I use the restaurant to exercise what I need to exercise as far as those character flaws are. And then, but my happiness is not tied to that. Like it can't. Because otherwise, my lease is only 6 years. What am I going to, I'm almost done the first year. Then I'll have 5 more years to go. What am I going to do after that? Go cry somewhere. My happiness is gone. I have to find another situation where I can exercise, working on my character flaws. If another restaurant is doing success and I'm watching it, I have to use that as to exercise. That's my gym, to exercise, being kind, saying nice things about it, genuine nice things, or helping them out, with what they would probably need, because the alternative is horrible. It's a miserable way of living, so. Just not tying my happiness to the restaurant helps out a lot. Yeah.
What do you tie your happiness to?
That's the other thing is like, dude, if you're not sad, why go looking for happy? Like, why go chasing it? If you're not sad, if you wake up and you're not sad, you're not trying to kill yourself, dude, it's a win. Calm down, okay? Like, that's enough, Why go chasing why go chasing happy?
You know why I'm laughing? Because you just actually everything you've said tonight just hits on a different note. And when I had to hear that again. Yeah. When you're not happy, why would you go find happiness? Oh, sorry, when you're not sad, why would you go find happiness? I'm like, why would you? And what is happy, eh?
Yeah.
What is happy?
For me, it's changed now for me, like happy is, being okay, sitting alone, just doing nothing, like nothing, like we're not doing nothing. Like that's nice. I can enjoy that. Peace is happy for me. So let's say the other reason why I work on these 7 things, right, is because let's say all your dreams come true. Right? And you are greedy. Let's say what you ever wanted was to win the lottery, right? And you win the lottery and you're greedy as fuck. And you're envious as well. You haven't worked on any of these things. Bro, you would lose that money real quick.
Like that,
Yeah.
You would not keep that, right? So that's the space I'm in right now. Like this is where I've wanted for the past, since I moved to New Zealand. I've always wanted to open a restaurant. If I didn't work on my 7 things, now that I have it, don't go looking for happy. Just stay here and work on these things. And when the restaurant will be, your lease is done in the next 5 years, we'll sort it out then. But this is what helps you work those 7 things out,
Because do you think happiness for some people is almost like a end destination? Like it's almost like a destination that then people go, I'm happy. What's next?
Yeah.
Do you think? Or is it just, how do you see? Is that why you view it in that way? Or
No, it's just because I've always tried to. I was one of the people that chase happy. I was chasing it. But when you get it, like this will make me happy, and then you get it, and you're like, oh. Like I told you earlier, my brother's toys, or as kids, I would take them, but I just wanted their happiness. It's not really the toy that I wanted. But you get it, and you're like, oh. Wow. I'm not happy. I wanted his happy. I wanted, that happy that he had. I don't really want this toy. So then I realized, it's happy is something that that needs to be defined better for me, and I'm still looking for that.
Cool.
Because I don't know what that is. If somebody makes me laugh, I'm laughing. I'm not, is that happy? Or am I just laughing?
You're just laughing in the moment.
Yeah.
Eh?
You would assume,
Yeah.
you would assume, maybe he's laughing because he's happy. Oh.
Yeah. Yeah. So, and then how long do you want that then?
Some people make it try and make it last forever.
Yeah. And if you're greedy like me, what do? You're trying to get everything to make that feeling last longer and longer and longer. And then you're going to end up in, in the worst. Don't go chasing happy.
Because like sugar, eh?
Yeah, exactly.
Too much sugar.
Oh my gosh.
But you can't have too much of it, right?
Oh my god.
You can't have too much of it.
Yeah.
You can just have it in the little dosages.
Yeah.
But I love what you said. Like if you're not sad, just be there.
Yeah. If you're not sad, don't go chasing happy.
Well, what if you are sad?
If you're sad, good luck, brother. Watch to the end. We'll give you a phone number to call.
Call a helpline. Yep.
No. If you are sad, yes, talk to somebody, call somebody, have a support system around you. There's so much help out there that family, friends, a pastor. You don't even need to know, who the pastor is. Just, I think talking to somebody helps anybody. And I tell you what, if you admit your character flaws to another human being, oh, bro, it's one of the most liberating things that you could do.
Oh my gosh, it is. I mean, you just being honest tonight, it's just blowing my mind because you're hitting it on different angles and you're going to places that we don't normally go. Actually, we don't even touch those topics. Nobody comes on, or even in my own circles, nobody just says in a conversation like, I'm a greedy person, or I'm a selfish person, or I'm just all about myself. Like nobody wants to reveal that side of them.
Yeah.
And you highlighted those 7 areas. We're all on that. And most of us, I don't want to say all, I don't know, because people are working away from it. Yeah. But most of us are sitting right on the cusp of the greedy and selfish and envy and jealousy. We're all sitting there. We're just not admitting it.
Yeah.
So for you to put it out there is so liberating for people who hear it because they then go, okay, what's one, you're modeling doing it, and then 2, you're also modeling that actually once you say it out loud, you can actually start working away from it.
Yeah. And, you have to be in the right mental space too before you, work with it with somebody, so that way somebody, can guide you through that. don't go on a podcast and say, hey, if you're not mentally there, because you will get,
Who did you work with?
if you're gonna get some backlash on this, like I can handle this, I can handle the horrible comments that's gonna come on the underneath this. It's fine, it'll be another exercise for me to, a chance for me to exercise all those 7 things, So it's fine.
That's so cool. You know what, celebrate? I was thinking, because during the introduction also, and I butchered your last name. It's actually Onesemo.
Yeah.
And I said Onesome. And I was like, man, I need to tell Brad to change this. So I was already thinking, oh man, the backlash, people are going to say, oh man, you butchered Henry's last name. But you being open and honest about this is, man, you know what? And saying straight off the bat, like, I don't care what the comments or what people say.
Yeah.
I just said, I just changed my mind now. I was like, it's just, but it is liberating when you share your flaws with someone else, and you go, oh wow, he's open and honest, and then it gives me the opportunity, or other people the opportunity. You know what? If you're honest about who you are, your struggles, then I'm going to be open and honest with my struggles as well.
Just do it with the Faithao, please. Don't go on a podcast. Don't do a live stream going, hey guys, this is what I'm going through. Don't do that. Okay, just please do it in a safe space. You'll be fine. Do it responsibly. But it's okay. What's in the name?
It's cool, man.
A lot.
It's cool. But I'm interested because this has to start from somewhere also. Like in terms of where did it come from, and was it like an epiphany? You kind of like, oh, you woke up, or was it something spiritual? You thought, you know what, I need to work on myself. I need to look at some of my character defects. Where did it all stem from?
I think the biggest one was when we moved here in New Zealand, we lived on K Road for 7 years, and then we didn't have a car. We just bought a car in 2020, me and my wife. So that whole time, me and my wife had a goal to working towards, and then we knew that by a certain time we had to move out of that 1-bedroom apartment on K Road, and then to get a car. So we rented a house, where we're living now in Glenfield. It's a 3-bedroom house, very nice house. We bought the car. We're getting ready to start the business. But then that happiness that I'm telling you guys about, you're sitting there having a beer going, man, I'm not happy. I thought I would be a little bit more excited about, we worked 7 years to get, to where we're at now. What's going on? And then, that's when I was like, okay, we need to, because I've been going to counseling since 2017 anyway. But it was that moment was the aha moment, like, bro, you have some serious issues to work on. And by the way, if you're going to a therapist or counseling, they can only help you if you're telling them the truth. If you're telling them lies, they're not helping. They are fixing a problem that doesn't exist.
Were you telling the truth from the beginning?
Yeah, hell no.
When did you buy him?
I go over and tell some stories that were trying to be this good person.
When did you buy into the process? Like, when did you actually, lean into the process?
Like little by little, things stuck. Since now it'll be 7 years, but on and off having a counselor. But something will stick here. Ignore something there, and maybe another day I'll remember it. But for me, that moment of sitting in a three-bedroom house in Glenfield, and going, man, I'm struggling, like not a real struggle, not the struggle in the sense that that we think of, but and then I was like, okay, I really need to start working on this. And then, start looking at things that I was doing that that created situations where it would hinder my decisions, my choices. So I stopped, drinking. I just made 2 years on July 15th. So that helped. Thank you. I'll take that.
Did you do that?
Ready for that?
Can I just ask, did you do that on your own or with some support?
With support with my counselor, and having basically having the understanding of God, having a spiritual guidance, it really does help, because then you take yourself away from the situation, and believing in something that's greater than me, not human. It really does help. So with that, for me, it started. It just started like a domino effect of looking at things differently. It's easier to make better choices during the day when I'm not hungover or from the night before, but I used to smoke since I was 14, drink since I was 14, but now I stopped both of those things. And coffee, like we talked about earlier, now it's just the sugar, man. I love it so much. I don't know what they're doing, but man, yeah, sugar is the one that I'm chasing every day, though. Yeah.
Would it help if I told you it was cocaine? I was kidding.
It's probably worse.
Yeah, it probably is worse.
I actually think I think it's a drug because it's so addictive.
Yeah, it is. It's very addictive. Anything that you take from away from that's processed like that has to be. They know it's now a drug. Like when you take sugar cane, and then you process that into a powder. What other plant they do this with?
That's right.
That's too true.
That's so true.
Yeah,
Food for thought.
Yeah, they take all this and then they process it into like, let's say a teaspoon of sugar. How much did you have to work to get a teaspoon of sugar back in the day? Like probably, I'm not sure, but we are getting it way too easy now.
On tap. Hey.
Yeah. Yeah, put it on top, please. I love sugar. Jesus. Those Mrs. Higgins peanut and chocolate chip cookies. Oh.
Just Mrs. Higgins full stone.
Oh my God. Kit Kats. Yeah, boy.
But at least, it's better than alcohol, right?
Yeah. It's your decision making it's a little bit better for me. For me, it's sugar is not motivating anything when it comes to decision making, or it's not like if I'm hungover, I'll cut corners, on a dish. I'll then be sneaky and try to get somebody to do my work, or just all those 7 things will be like it's a full flare up, like yeah. So it's just my character defects just become full blown out. If for me, alcohol is the gasoline that kind of lights that fire for me. Start patting yourself on the back, but no, it's a lot easier choosing the right thing when you're clear headed. I think, and yeah, at least for me.
Yeah, no, that's good. The alcohol, and alcohol is one substance that does that, but so does eating too much.
Yeah.
Hey, too much sugar, too much of anything really can take away your best decision making self. Yeah. And
Absolutely.
I'm one of the bits that I'm really intrigued by is how you shared when you're in a place when when you're making good decisions and you've, taken control of all of those components, that's when you make your best food.
Yeah.
And I want to understand that, because we just think, like two humans who are in great places, like amazing things can happen, right, as a result because of that relationship. But you're also sharing tonight, because I'm a person who just cooks. I just eat to live.
Yeah.
I'm just like, guys, dinner time, just cook whatever, eat now, task done.
Yeah.
But you're sort of saying that there's a real relationship here between you being at your best self and the food that you produce.
Yes.
Can you talk about that? Because I believe that's true, because when you eat food from amazing chefs, or even from your own mum or auntie who's cooking it happily, they're in a good state of mind and they're they're really happy. That food tastes amazing. Yeah. What is it about? What's happening there?
Yeah, that's, there's definitely something happening there between you and something greater than yourself. That's when, God's hand is in work within that space.
Wow.
Because now it's more than just sustenance. Now food has become, more than that. You're bringing joy to somebody else. You're uplifting either a community or your family, and that's of all the things that we talk about, that's addicting, somebody that's happy in the kitchen, that is, that's one of those things that draws you in, like, well, what are they doing? Like, and everybody kind of then, overcrowds the kitchen, in most times. But, if for me, again, it's, if I practice those things that within a dish, I know it'll come out good. It'll taste good, and the product will be good, because I was good. I made good choices, not just. I used to do these competitions. We used to do these things called Dine by Donation at Meredith's. And so what they would do is all the chefs would do one dish each. And then at the end of the night, we find out, what their favorite dish was. So everybody would compete. And I would, throw the kitchen sink at a dish, just making it, so extra, trying to be good. And, it's never the favorite, because you're everything. The motivation behind it is trying to show off. You're trying to do too much, and if you just keep it simple and stick with find out what that motivation is. Do you really need to overcook that and then dehydrate it and then puff it and then put it up, is that really necessary, or can you just accomplish the same thing with doing it simpler this way? So yeah, for me, I can tell now in my dishes. I'm like, when I overcomplicate it too much, it's like, what are you trying to do there? Like,
that's
are you trying to tell everybody that you can cook? Because you own a restaurant. There's a hint there. Like, what are you trying to accomplish here? So I focus more now on so I do, let's say one of the dishes that I do is I do a little umu in inside the restaurant. So now if I focus on a technique, it has to have purpose to it. It's not just for showing off. Like, I can do a technique, I've cooked this 500 ways and this is the the final product. If I choose a technique, it has to serve a purpose, and that's all I need to do. You don't have to overcomplicate it, which is what I used to do. And that's another thing that that's where, you lose the love. Now you're instead of building a community, you're trying to show everybody that you did all of this. Like, look at me, I'm cooking for all you guys.
Yeah.
Now you've lost that perspective. Where now I'm more like, if it's good, if it serves the purpose, which is, and don't go chasing happy.
Yeah. It sounds like it's quite intuitive, eh?
Yeah.
Like, because I can imagine every piece of meat, every piece of fruit, every piece of vegetable, all the ingredients you have, they're not always the same form.
Yeah.
They all come in different ways.
Yeah.
Like, they'll all have different blemishes, which tells me you'd have to adapt to the way they're presented in the moment. So if you're overthinking stuff, you absolutely lose. And this is, we're talking about food, but you actually have to have that intuitive relationship with food to be able to create the dish in its greatest form, regardless of the state of the ingredients. Eh?
Yeah, and that intuition comes from time spent in the kitchen. The more time you spend there, the better you are. And again, it could easily go wrong when you spend too much time working on something. Yeah. Or overworking something. Like, now you have to figure out, why are you, why are we doing this for the 100th time? Why are we overworking ourselves?
That's cool.
Yeah.
That whole questioning process, because even in things that we do in life, if you're not mindful of, the overthink, or the ego taking over, or you losing sight of what the real purpose is, you actually F it up.
Yeah, you do.
And people pick it up.
100% of the time, you will mess it up. You will 100% mess it up.
And you can see it.
Yeah,
It's just,
you can absolutely see it. You're like, dude, like, what were you thinking? And that's the problem. You thought, and and but it's cooking. You for me shouldn't be too complicated. That intuition that comes over time is a great tool to have. But it's, and all the techniques that you learn is something that you use to accomplish a certain goal, or that you want to accomplish with a certain dish. But when you try to throw in 100 different techniques into one dish, you can just tell.
So in saying this, though, you've taken traditional dishes and so what would you call that? Have you overthought it? Have you intuitively transformed it? Like, what's been the process there? Because what I love about what you've done, and what Michael Meredith has done as well, is you've taken some of our traditional dishes, and for a generation that isn't really eating our food, for a generation that isn't eating our food, you guys have I don't know if it's repackage or reformat, I don't know what the word is, but you've given a new look, and you've also given you've also positioned it in a way where people are paying big dollars for it, which big ups to you guys. I think that's super amazing. So what's been that process where you've been able to take, and why have you done that and not just left it as is?
First, the whole idea was, when we wanted to be specifically Samoan. That was the first thing that me and my wife talked about. And then we had to look at the landscape of where Samoan food was in New Zealand. So then it was, we had the night markets, and then we had the takeaways. And then we were very much aware of not making something too kitschy, we didn't want to open a restaurant with serve everything on coconut bowls and serving just because I've
the food's good. I don't know.
Well, you go to Hawaii. Let's say you go to Hawaii and you go to luau's and things like that, where the tiki torches and the fake leis and all that commercialization. I would say the Kmart version of what that culture should be. And you don't want that. We were very much aware. Not if we're gonna do that, we're gonna open a Samoan restaurant. We cannot bring the culture down. So taking it to where we're at, when I first moved to the States, one of the things was when we went out to eat with my friends, my main order was same, because I didn't know how to order food in a restaurant. I felt out of place. So that's another thing that we wanted to accomplish, is that if you're Samoan and it's your first time in a restaurant, the menu should be in Samoan, the music playing is in Samoan, the chefs is Samoan, and so that you feel at home, or you feel like you belong. The food itself has an abstract approach to it, where we've evolved so much, and we haven't had that. We have what our moms are cooking, but we haven't had that restaurant that that should be serving Samoan food. So with the abstract approach, you will get that reference of what Samoan food is, and it's good to see Samoans with their Palangi friends telling them, "Oh, so this is what we and this is but it's at the same time, it makes us cool. Like we're in the know now, like we're in a space that we belong, and we're in the know, and we're telling, I'm not the only one telling stories at Tala. It's the guests are telling stories among their friends, and it's a beautiful thing to watch. And then also creating that price point of, from let's say one person is spending, I would say $30 to $50 at a takeaway or at the night markets, versus $215 to eat at Tala, and what Tala provides. Now you have that space in the middle. Which is something me and my wife were very excited about, because that is the space that we need to watch. And the next Samoan chef coming up, doing a Samoan restaurant, he has that whole area to play with, whether it be a bistro, cafe, smart dining, whatever it is. There's a huge price point difference that I feel like is, I think the market demands it, actually, and just watching the space of who's going to do it, who's next up, because, they're going to do amazing things. I think they're going to knock it out of the park. So that's where Samoan food will blow up. Yeah.
What it shows to me is how much you and your wife believe in your product. You've taken our Samoan flavors, our Samoan dishes, and to position it at the higher end in your first restaurant, that's a massive jump. Yeah. And so what it tells me is you see the value of our cultural dishes. Yeah. And you see that there's a massive need for it, and you also believe that people pay the price for it. Yep. And so big ups to you. That's a massive that takes a massive jump to be able to go from $30 to $40 at a takeaway to then $250 per person. Yeah. That shows how much you believe in what you've created. I think that's cool.
Yeah, and I think from a calculated perspective, if it's not for us, we're going to be the only ones that are doing this. So that's another reason why we put it at that price point. You know, I've eaten at a lot of, you know, elevated fine dining places. You know, I struggle sometimes with the term, but the main reason why we priced it at that point is, you know, if there's nothing else like it, that's we felt at the time that's where we should price it at, and then, you know, again, from coming all the way down or even moving up further, man, that next guy is.
You've set them up good.
Oh my gosh.
Good, the next options.
I'm gonna watch him on the Mandate podcast, talking about how perfect he is and how,
I can see you.
Yeah, he's not. You know, he's all perfect. He has no character defects. He's just.
And that's because he's watched this podcast.
Yeah. He's like that guy. Oh my gosh, mafu that guy. He needs to go to church.
Whatever.
But you know what you've done, Henry, in terms of the industry, in terms of obviously our people and the food, our Samoan food. You're bringing sexy back, man. Because you know, you think
Bring it back.
You're bringing it back because, you know, for some folks, they think, oh yeah, the kalo, whaifukalo and all the whai and all that, and then you be super and all that kind of stuff, and then the umu, they think, oh, it's, you know, and people might think, oh, it's just quite bland. Yeah, this is the normal Samoan dish.
Yeah.
But what you're doing, you've taken it, like Caroline was saying, you and Michael Meredith and some of the other budding chefs or Samoan or Tongan chefs out there who are doing amazing things. You're bringing our food and our people and people to the world. Yeah. And people are actually seeing this at wow, grow. And what you said in terms of from $35 to $50 takeaway, now you've gone to the price range of $200 or over $200. Yeah. And so what I'm hearing is this kind of some premium prices, man. Like, man, and I think it's not because it's just food. It's just because of the value. It's worth that. You guys are worth that value. That's what makes it exciting. And like you were saying, for the next person, it's going to be worth whatever. Yeah. And so in terms of all those dishes, which one? Because I want to pick your brain in terms of which one out of all those dishes you have created is the one, you know, without a shadow of a doubt, like as you just hit it out the park. This is the one you need to taste.
I'd say the palusami. Yeah. So the palusami that we make at the restaurant is not better than my dad's, but it's close. I think my dad still has the best because, you know, I can't compete with that memory of, you know, eating, you know, that memory of my dad's palusami will always win. You know, but yeah, I would say the palusami. Yeah.
Oh man, that's cool. And you know what? It's the experience that you're trying to achieve, not just the dish, eh?
Yeah.
It's the experience of the dish. When you highlight your dad's dish, all the memories that come from eating that dish is what I guess surpasses what you think experiences might be achieved through your dish, but for other people might be the best one for them because...
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, and for me, it's, you know, it's my dad's balsami is will forever be the best. And the format that we serve the food at the restaurant as well is more typical of, you know, eating when I grew up, where, you know, you eat with, you know, there's kalo on the plate, balsami, might be would be buvmasima over here. There's maamoe, there's sapasui, all on a laulau, or, you know. So it's more this whole idea that we eat mounds of food because we were not used to the round plate, probably. You know, the way I do it, you know, it seems like it is an experience because, you know, you're trying lots of little Samoan dishes. You're not just, which is so weird for me to see a place like serve oka as an entree. Like, you know, can you imagine like ordering oka, like you and your friend, and like, okay, I'll have the palusami, he'll have the oka, and then send the menus back. Like, what are you gonna do with that? It doesn't work. Yeah, like what are you doing? Like that doesn't work. Like, you know, So that's where the new the next guy out has to figure out. Is that format has to change a little, and it's good to have. There'll be hopefully, someday in the future it'll be like a Samoan style of serving food. Like hopefully 20, 30 years down the line. It'll be an Italian restaurant going, oh yeah, we're Italian restaurant, but serve Samoan style. That'll be, we're slowly getting there. I'm just one little piece, but I feel like the next guy out and the next guy, you'll see frozen balsamic at the Pack and Save, you know what I'm saying? Yeah, because that's ready to cook fa'alifu, just it's, lots, all those things that haven't happened yet for the culture probably will.
Because as our Pasifika culture, as we move forward in the new generation, and the new generation has a lot more perspective because they, not only like in New Zealand, for example, our Pasifika, our Samoans are, now trying to hold the mainstream view, which is the Western view or the Palangi view. Then we have the Indigenous, which is the Te Ao Māori. And then there's Samoan, who is put in the branch of Pasifika. And I love how you said earlier, every other day of the week I'm Pasifika, but then I only get to be Samoan one day.
Oh yeah, like no. It's the 1 week in February.
Yeah, when you're just Samoan.
Yeah, it's the 1 week in February. And after that, you're back to being Pacifica, bro.
That in itself.
Samoan language we get.
Yeah. That's the one in February. That 1 week, everybody. Everybody on their TikTok doing the lao. Suddenly calm down. And then after that, it's back to being Pacifica.
Well, that's right. We get put back into that box, right? And that's why I love what you've done is you've put a Samoan restaurant. But I'm also hearing that you've progressed, like you've innovated it you've innovated those dishes to cater for the way we are as Samoans. We're progressive. We've always been progressive, and you are modelling that. And so I guess where I'm going with my question is, we're moving, Samoans especially, let's just take Samoan because we are Samoan, they're having to juggle these different perspectives. So we have a wider view, which means our future consumer group of Samoans that are up and coming, who are now adults and now purchasing and blah, blah, blah. Like, we have to cater for them because I know some of them don't like those traditional plates. In fact, they may even just view those plates as just being for kangaka makakua, like kongai. But during the week, you're almost innovating it in a way. I mean, are you catering for that as well?
Yeah, absolutely. That is our customer base is Samoan with money, the working Samoan. So that's the guy working at Pack and Save, who's saving up. That's why it's very important to us. Like I tell you guys, for like not to lose your shit in the middle of service, because it could be this kid that pushes a cart at Pack and Save, saving up his money. Has heard of Tala and now is here celebrating, a birthday with his sister or, a partner and then, that's our number one consumer base, is that Samoan, that is working, and, celebrating something. But, it's always good that, most times, there's that struggle, like, are you alienating other Pacific Islanders from, when you're just, because, I'm always saying I'm specifically Samoan for Samoan. No, I don't feel like I am. If anything, I would like to, what about a Tongan restaurant, There's a Fijian restaurant right across from me, New Win restaurant, Rarotongan, like that would be amazing, And then, it'll be funny to watch that conversation of, oh, it's the same thing. No, it's not. You know,
It's not.
It's not. Like, I would love, like, you know, oh, it all stays the same, isn't it? No, it's not. Just because you've been told Pacifica food or Pacific is, you know, is all. Nah, it's not. And I've always not taken offense to that, but I've always stayed away from that and focused more on, you know, just doing Samoan food. And I'm not trying to. It's not to alienate any other Pacifica culture. You know, it's more about, you know, empowering our own, you know. But, you know, what are you going to do? Yeah.
Yeah, you can't please everyone, Henry, yeah. But
And it's
but I will agree in terms of the food, in terms of the obviously Pacifica food, and people kind of categorize, oh, it's just it's all the same.
Yeah, it's all the same.
Oh, yeah, taro's taro, and then how they cook it and all that.
Yeah.
But you know who's the best there.
Yeah. Come on. You know, you guys do you guys know the story of OJ? That song by
Jay-Z?
Jay-Z? Yeah. When he says, well, OJ said it first. When OJ said, you know, I'm not black, I'm OJ. Like, when I came out and, like, just doing specifically Samoan, I could hear people say, oh, he thinks he's not Pacifica. I'm like, I'm just saying I'm Samoan, brother, you know. That's all. I'm not saying I'm not Pacifica.
Yeah.
I'm just saying I'm Samoan, you know. But there's that, you know, that scared thought of, like, you know, I'm not black, I'm OJ. Yeah.
Yeah, because you got to narrow it down, eh?
Yeah.
We've got, I mean, these categories that were put in is a little bit unfair because, you know, it does take away from our uniqueness.
Yeah.
And they do that because they don't want to individualize all the different Pacific Islands.
Yeah.
And in New Zealand, maybe not, I think in America, they refer to us as Pacific Island. Then here in New Zealand, we're Pacific, and then in Australia we're Oceania, and I'm just like, hey, like, keep it to the core there with Samoan. So good on you for you know, making that stance, because there are more Samoans in all the islands.
Oh, wait a minute. I think I just heard all the reservations getting canceled right now. Yep. That's all canceled. Okay.
Whatever. Yeah, no, we'll take that.
There's a riot at the restaurant now.
Wait.
But the other day I had some Tongan pankikis.
Yeah.
And I was like, well, these are different from the Samoan ones, and they were really yum.
Yeah.
They were actually really yum, and I actually, I don't want to say it, but I really like these.
Yeah, it's completely different. I mean, Samoan has had its, you know, German influence, British influence, Chinese influence. You know, it's I don't know, you know, how they can say it's the same, you know. But yeah, what are you gonna do? I'm just focused on doing Samoan food. Yeah.
But what's the consensus, Henry? Obviously, you might get some people, some of the older folks, they come in and they think, oh, they're expecting, okay, this is a Samoan restaurant. They come in, they're eating, oh, it's a bit of a fusion here, a bit of a different taste. What's been the consensus in terms of the elders?
Yeah.
What's the feedback? Are they giving you some good reviews? Are they kind of say, hey, where's the chef?
Yeah.
Are they approaching you in the restaurant saying, hey, this is great?
Yeah. So, you know, it's the absolutely positive. We haven't had a negative comments yet, but, you know, they all, I mean, we've had people cry at the restaurant. We had people doing laumas because it was, we had, it was just, it's, and that's what really surprised me because, you know, I thought they would be the ones that would, you know, would take offense to it, but nothing but love, man. Like, they were so, they're so happy and proud. And it's so funny to watch because most of the time, I would say 85% of the time, they are proud for themselves. like it's their restaurant, you know. And I'm like, oh man, that's this is they're like, oh, this is really good. This is this is for Samoa, you know, like how they, I'm like, yeah,
cool.
yeah, and it's I mean, as long as I don't sit too long in those comments, I'm in a healthier place. But I do take it on board, and I'm happy that it's been positive so far. Yeah.
Do you have any of our oldies that come in and they're like,
yeah, absolutely. In the beginning,
do you have any of those ones?
So, absolutely. When they first get in, like in the beginning, when I first start the first couple of dishes, oh man, hey, they're my own man. Totally,
do you want to translate that? Yeah, that's funny.
Yeah, but it's, and then towards the end is just to watch that change. It's like it's so good. It's worth just makes it worthwhile doing. But again, I cannot go too far into like enjoying that too much, you know. But I take it in, then I'm like, okay, let's see what tomorrow's like.
Yeah, I can envision that, like, you know, you said earlier that when people come in with their non-Samoan or non-Pacifica friends and they're explaining the dishes, I can imagine even with just a whole Samoan group with the nana, papa, auntie, uncles, and then you have the younger generation, and they hear those comments. I can imagine the conversations, just the upskilling of our older generation to kind of go, hey, that's what you know, but this is the future. And then even from the older generation, maybe even telling stories of some of those dishes from back in the day. I can imagine that must be what could go on, at a restaurant like yours. Must be so beautiful.
100% what happens when we have older Samoans coming in, and it's, in the moment, of course, I take all the credit, but it's all God's hands. But it's really nice to hear it. I'll absolutely be lying if I say it's, I don't enjoy hearing that, but I do. And it's been good so far.
It's cool.
Yeah,
man.
That's awesome.
I can imagine especially when they enjoy it. I can just imagine all the old folks. Oh yeah, man, I had a dish there and really. I don't. When they can't pay the bill, dale. What about a counter, man? Oh, come on.
And you're still smiling in the kitchen.
No, because I'm like, dale. Mereka api agak kalafu. Mana api agak kalafu. Why lo ngot sila?
Say nephew.
After pay, bro. Nah, that's so cool. I love what you're doing. That's so awesome.
No, man, that's amazing, man. That's so good, Henry.
People are going to have to translate this podcast. Some things are left in mother tongue,
Mereka ko api ikal. Boleh. Oh ya boleh.
Henry's like, the dish is over.
All of a sudden, instead of calling you by your name, nephew, son. Oh my goodness.
Oh man.
Because your wife, she's not Samoan, eh?
No. She's from Massachusetts. Yeah.
Oh, cool. So tell us a little about her, because we haven't quite. She sounds
man, we
like
ran out of time. I was over here telling everybody I did all this by myself, and
you're trying to get him in trouble, man.
This is your third wife, right? We want to keep this one. So you better give her some love tonight, bro. So tell us about her.
Am I so kind of late, man?
Oh man, she wrote me what to say. No. She wrote down what.
The reason why I'm thinking of it is when they start doing that, I owe you once, then get your wife to But anyway, tell us about your wife.
My wife is probably the
Business partner, eh?
Yeah, she's my business partner. You know, we went in 50-50 on this, but I feel like most of the time is, you know, 80%, even though I'm at the restaurant more, you know, all the stuff that she does is the stuff, you know, the logistics of, you know, the business part of the restaurant. I do the hospitality part really well, but she does the business part very, very, very well. I know you know, that's something I'm not strong at. And, you know, she is the complete opposite of me. You know, genuinely a nice person, very patient, like, you know, charitable, kind, and she works hard, you know, like, she has a job, full-time job, and does the restaurant work as well.
Wow.
Yeah. So probably the hardest working person that I know. And then, you know, it's just, every day she amazes me by doing something. You know, there's something that she does that, you know, that always amazes me. I always say that, you know, like I try to make good choices, you know, for me. But my wife, she makes beautiful choices. Like she just, you know, she makes things, you know, if there's happiness is if I accomplish what she, you know, like, how's me being competitive with my wife? I want to do it. I want to be better than her. No, like happiness is, for me, is like, you know, if I could accomplish half of what she's done, then I think I'm in good company. Yeah. Her name is Debbie. Yeah. So shout out Debs. See?
Yeah, props to Debbie. Yeah,
That's
man.
cool. Love that. I always love hearing couple stories,
Yeah.
especially when they work together in a business
Yeah.
and you know, have to lean on each other during all of the highs and lows and high pressure times. I think that's unique because not many couples can do that.
Yeah. I mean, the original idea was opening a restaurant in Samoa.
What?
Yeah. So when we left the States in 2013, 2012, we went to Samoa. We were going to open a little a restaurant in Samoa. And then, my mom was teaching in a hospitality school, and she's like, "Oh, you know nothing about running a business. You need to go to school and learn how, you know, you need to learn the business part of it." So I'm like, "Okay, I'll go to school." But then that laziness kicks in. You know, my wife did all my homework. You know, I don't even know why I went to school. I think I just went it for just to make her happy. But, you know, and got the reading material for my wife to read. And I just did all the practical stuff. Because this is actually my third career at the time. And, you know, we lived in Samoa for almost a year before coming up here.
Wow.
Yeah.
So what stopped you from planting a restaurant there?
We came up here for a Bruno Mars concert.
Oh.
And then we booked a restaurant called Meredith's on Dominion Road. And then me and my wife went there and ate, and I was blown away. I was like, oh my gosh, this is. Then I saw the chef. I was like, oh my gosh, you know, with the tats and, you know, and looking like me. I'm like, oh, okay, all right. We knew, like, as soon as we got to the hotel, she saw I wanted to move up here and, you know, try to work in his kitchen. So we went to Samoa after the concert, and she wrote the email, yeah, pretending to be me, you know.
to
Michael.
Oh yeah.
See if I can get into the kitchen.
Wow.
Yeah. So we were like, okay. That's when we were like, okay, so we have to play the long game now, you know, instead of just half-assing a restaurant in Samoa. Let's do this properly. And that was the first step, was getting into his kitchen.
Wow.
We wrote him just like, oh, if I could just, you know, my visa would be like 3 months visitor's visa. So I worked over there for free for 3 months. They call it a stage. So 3 months, just trying to. And when he offered me the job after the 3 months, I was like, oh, thank God. Jesus, I did not want to go back to Samoa. No, but that was the pride talking, because when I left Samoa, I was, me, that's full blown Mimika. Oh yeah, I'm gonna go to work at this guy. I'm gonna go to New Zealand. Sorry, see ya, bye. But then, so I moved up here, and all these decisions, she backed me 100%. She's like, yep, we can do it. She even encouraged it, and to have somebody like that on your corner, like, not only sometimes she believes in what I can do more than me, because I have that false bravado of all my character defects, flaming things up, where she's a lawyer, she thinks analytically, she sees it's evidence based, not just smoke. So she's she'll be quick to let me know if something is not right, or where my point out or really question where my motivations is on certain things. So it's important to have somebody like that in your corner. If you find it, get it. Other things that I struggle with, especially with the culture, right? And I come to it, on my own. But sometimes in Samoan culture, they think, oh, it's because of the white woman that's gonna, like I don't contribute to fa'alavilaves back home. I don't do any of that stuff. I don't go. I'm not, a member of the church. I'm not, I stay away from all of that. But, my dad and my mom still love me. Cool. They almost every day, I get a message from them saying, how proud they are, or they're happy for me and they still love me, and I think they all kind of knew the kind of person that I am. So, I'm literally like the black sheep of the family, and there's a certain guilt that comes from it. And in my situation, for my family, they don't bring that up at all. They love my wife. They accept her, as part of the family now, and even though I don't contribute anything at all to all the fa'alavilaves, all the things that come up, they still love me. I'm like, oh, thank God, Jesus. So, that's another thing that allows me, to be in the space that I'm at today, one of the contributing factors. And the other one, which is I'm always grateful for, is people that have come to New Zealand before me and made this such an easy task. Like, it's so easy, 10 years to get to where I'm at today in New Zealand, in a space in Parnell that is probably for, like, the work they have done. Like, nobody bats an eye that a Samoan restaurant is opening up in Parnell. Like, that's how good the work people that came here before me did,
That's cool.
That's nuts, bro. Like, I mean, I wish Tala can have an impact like that for the next generation, hopefully.
I don't.
Yeah.
And, your decision to your decision to make, to not, engage in the fa'alavilave and go to church, and you kind of labelled it being a black sheep. Because, I think that's one of the crossroads we have in our culture.
Yeah.
And whether you're married to a Palangi or not a Palangi, or even just you're married to another Samoan, like, these are some of the things, these are the crossroads you end up at.
Yeah.
And so what was it because you had a vision in place and you just wanted to focus on that?
Yep. Partly that. Also, I was, I grew up very religious in Samoa, au convo, especially almosa, man,
It just rolls off the
yeah. So like, it's, you get to, I guess, disillusioned, disenfranchised by the whole, I feel like my spiritual journey and my religious beliefs, now I'm in a space where I feel like both can probably go together, but can travel parallel each other. Like my spiritual journey doesn't have to be religious, so I don't need to subscribe to the traditional way of spirituality, where that was in Samoa. It's just a local, that's it, but I do take my character defects is, like you said, it's the 7 deadly sins, I take I recognize the value that it gave me, but it's so hard for me right now to subscribe to any religious traditional religious groups, and so the choice was mine because there's a goal I needed to achieve, and that was one of those things that I felt like I can accomplish without using. I can accomplish using a different method. I can accomplish spirituality without, having tithing or, because I can work on all those things, by myself, not by myself, but, I can work on those things on myself and have a relationship with a higher, with God, because, that's important to me, to have that. But I don't feel like I need to go to church for that,
Yeah.
I grew up in Samoa, so we went to church 2 times, every Sunday. And then during the week, it's the Aokoravo, and then you have the Aufai Pese practices, and then I think I'm done. I've done enough. I paid my time, okay?
You've done your dash.
Yeah.
You've done your dash.
Yeah, I'm just kidding.
But that's always the case there, Henry. It's always the case in terms of when you have a goal, when you want to accomplish something, sometimes there's a lot of sacrifice.
Yeah.
And it seems like you've had to sacrifice some of those things that in life that they're quite important to you, but also the wider scope of your family, your anger, in terms of and you said you felt a bit of guilt that you weren't able to that you stopped contributing to some of those aspects in terms of the whanaulavis and so forth. But I'm assuming, and I'm sure that regardless of those things that that you start contributing and the opportunities, I can guarantee that Mum and Dad and your ainga are proud that what you've done in terms of contributing to the ainga, and not only to the ainga, but more so to our people. It's like, man, that's a proud moment.
Yeah. And at first I thought, oh man, being the bad son or whatever. But no, they still love me, like that was the biggest fear was, they will not love me anymore, but no, they still love me. And even with the, with the church and stuff, speaking of the, growing up religious, I used to use that stuff to manipulate people and stuff like to get my way, and I didn't want to. Let's say this is my 3rd career, so to change career, I tell my dad, in the Bible, they say I can't hide my talents. I have to, the one that hide the talents, the master just Spanish away. But Yeah, I used to use so much of that of the scripture to manipulate and get my ways. I used it. I weaponized the Bible basically sometimes.
Was it learned behavior?
I think so.
Yeah.
Nah, just kidding. It was all me, bro.
Man, I like that you own it.
Yeah, I don't think it's, I think it's something you're born with. I don't think it's something that you just. I think, I think you learn things that you want to learn. You only learn things that like.
You're not wrong there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So whatever lessons, that learned behavior, those are just the lessons that you are already willing to learn. Because there are other lessons,
Yeah.
yeah, there are like, there's good and bad every day. It's you that's picking up the bad.
Yeah.
You're just picking up, for me, it's easier to pick up the bad lessons, I could go through a day where there's 10 bad lessons and 10 good lessons. And we'll say, oh, it's learned behavior that he learned all that's, because I will pick up the 10 bad and,
wipe away the 10 good.
Yeah, 10 good.
Because that's what you choose.
Yeah, that's what I choose.
Yeah.
And then you're like, oh, is that learned behavior? No, there was other lessons too.
That was a desire.
I'm only learning what I want to learn, like, so inherently, I think for me, that's another thing that I only pick up what I want to learn.
Yeah, that's cool. I just love your honesty. You're so honest, and you're so, you don't. Who do we have last time? And they were saying, you got to nip it in the butt. Like as soon as you Samson, he's a movie director, and he was just saying, as soon as you're confronted with those moments when it starts to build up, you got to nip it in the butt. When you start to go lazy, envious, all of that, you nip it in the butt so that you don't sit on it and you move forward. And so what I'm hearing from you is, and this is not to say this is just you. I think again, we've got to be honest. This is all of us. We sit on that side of the spectrum, and until we actually recognize it, we don't really move. We can cover it up and make it look a certain way, but unless we actually call it out for ourselves, and maybe even share that for accountability. We just sit in it, and like you said, just because of the desire that we sit in, this is why we go this way instead of that way.
Yeah.
Because that's where we are in the moment, and it's not learned behavior. It's where my heart really is at.
Yeah,
that's pretty in your face.
Or at least for me, though. At least for me, it's
it's human nature.
Yeah, if you put in like I said, with the 10 lessons, like I'll immediately pick up the bad ones first. I have to be in the moment. I have to do my work to consciously choose to learn the good ones, and then have to. It's a struggle for me, but I have to do it. So, because the alternative is not good, No,
it's not. For all of us.
Yeah, for all of us. Because you're going to, whatever goals or dreams that you have, you're going to get. And if you haven't nipped it in the butt, you're going to lose it all. Like you are going to, or worse, you're not going to be able to handle when you lose, what you've worked for, or what you're, and that's even worse, I think. So, yeah, I think it's if you start working on your defects, just in case you win the lottery, if that's the motivation, just in case you win the lottery, because if you win the lottery and you haven't dealt with it, the money comes in today, out tomorrow.
Yeah. I mean, that's very true. I deliver workshops in suicide prevention, and one of the things that people don't think of is that the amount of people who have taken their own lives as a result of misusing that money and not having the character to be able to manage that money right at the when they received it is more common than we think. Yeah. So you're right. If you don't, I'm not saying that's the outcome for everyone, but
no, it's not,
it's quite detrimental.
Just don't go around thinking you're good. Like you're a good person, and then that's why you feel guilty. With the misuse. That's where that guilt comes from, because you don't know. You're just feeling guilty. Why am I feeling guilty? Where you have to know where that guilt comes from.
Yeah.
It comes because there's a certain part of you that's let's say if you win the lottery and you start you start cheating on your wife because it's accessible, or you're using the money.
Power.
Yeah, and now you don't know why you think you're feeling guilty because of cheating. No, you're feeling guilty because you're indulging in that character defect of lust. You haven't dealt with that. Because if you have dealt with that, no matter how much money you get, you're still gonna be with you're not gonna fool around. You would have fooled around already, or it's. And, it's do it so that, just in case your dreams come true is what I'm trying to say. Yeah, at least work on some of them, and do it with the right person, have personal help, don't just listen to just so everybody knows, I only have a high school diploma from Pearl City High School in Hawaii and a failed UPY, a failed BSSC from Samoan College. I didn't make it to UPY. So please, what I'm saying is don't take it as with a grain of salt. It's just, that's where I'm at, but yeah, work on those defects, because just in case you win that lottery, man, your dreams come true,
And the hope is that it does. And so I appreciate that. I feel as if your whole foundation in this conversation has been around that, knowing sort of where it's almost like knowing our not so good side, and knowing the possibilities of the good side, and knowing where we are and what we need to do to work towards it. I think we don't have this conversation many times, eh?
It's a breath of fresh air also. It really is, in terms of emotional intelligence, in terms of obviously men, and I'm just speaking from my own personal experience, that we don't like to talk about that. We don't like to talk about or share, I'm not good at this, or we get mad and whakamā and all that kind of stuff. We don't do that. I don't think we're really good at sharing some of our defects. And what you've done, you've flipped it over. You just flipped the whole game in terms of they just share it, just not be ashamed to share it. And so also thank you. I thank you, because I think a lot of people who are watching, a lot of people who are listening in, will kind of they'll resonate with a lot of people. And when I'm saying a lot of people, I'm talking about a lot of men more so, that maybe we should just sit back and say, hey, I need to reevaluate. Am I this person? Am I this? Why do I do this? Why do I say this? Is there some truth? Is there ego? Is there lust? All that kind of stuff. And then reaffirm, maybe I do need to change. And it's really opened up my eyes also. And just to really feel comfortable to share and not be ashamed of my flaws.
Yeah.
And so I love also. I totally love her for the conversation, man. And hey, when you were kidding, you said that you come back for part 2. You were coming back for part 2, man. You come back for part 2 because we want to check it. Hey, how's it going? How's the flaws and
I'm fixed now.
But also, thank you so much. Thank you so much.
Yeah. No, thank you guys. Thank you so much for having me up here. I really do appreciate it. Thank you. I really do appreciate the opportunity to share, the opportunity to hopefully spark something out there for someone that's listening and is struggling with the same thing I'm struggling with, because it's not easy. I know that for a fact. And if you have any questions, please call. What's that? You? Mm-hmm. Yeah, call him for all the questions about what I said.
And I'll keep hanging up.
Just leave all your questions in the comments.
Yeah, because you're going to be answering them.
Late at night, just full on pride. What are they saying about me?
How dare you?
No, bad attention is good attention. Oh yes. What else did I do?
I know. That's so funny. Gosh, someone should do an experiment on that, eh? How people watch their podcasts and they just fast forward to their bits. Shame.
No. But honestly, it's been just a great experience and a great talanoa that I can guarantee is going to be beneficial for a lot of people, not just for me, just for anyone in general. But also all the best for 2024.
Thank you.
All the best with Tala and Debbie. your household, and also just the whole team, the whole staff, also, and just. Yeah, no worries. We will definitely come and dine at your restaurant and serve up. But please, if you haven't been there already, please go check it out, man. Check it out. Tala Restaurant, man. Pa now.
Yeah, no, thank you so much for tonight. I've been blown away by a lot of your, even before we started filming, you were saying some stuff in the cafe that was just making me go, what did you just say? And I was just trying to remember the last thing you said before we walked in. But in that moment, I was like, oh, this is going to be one of those kind of podcasts. It's not your norm. Not that I'm saying everyone else is normal.
Oh, yeah.
But you've taken us on a totally new area of depth. I have one question, and I was just thinking, should I ask it? Why am I asking it?
Yeah.
I'm doing your thinking process. Like, should I ask it? But I actually think, and I think I want to know this from from the context of you working with your wife, right? And just from how a man perceives the love of his wife and what that love does to a man. And so, with the kind of support that she gives you and the kind of belief she has for you, is it coming from the place of her pure love for you, or is it coming from the place of the mere fact that she sees your capabilities, she sees what you can do? And then when you answer that question, which is more powerful for men? Is it that your wife just loves you, full stop? Or is that your wife sees, what you're capable of? Which is more powerful?
I think it's that she loves me, full stop. She has unwavering loyalty. I think more than anything is, I think love is the byproduct of that loyalty, I think. She caters and anticipates what I'm thinking and what I want, I think. It's really hard. The hardest thing in running a business together with a wife that you love very much is that love is a very strong emotion, and with that emotion, other emotions are attached to it. So when you are trying to, usually for me during the day, I can keep my emotions, at bay. But around my wife, it gets, I get flare up, because now I know my emotions are working, at work. I'm like, damn, it sucks, but it's good at the same time. Certain decisions now are like, you struggle now. Are you thinking analytically, or is this emotion? Is your response emotional, or on certain things now, because it is your wife? I think that's the hardest struggle that I have. Is that when you do business with somebody that you love, and you have, you just gotta know that love is a really strong emotion. There's so much that attaches to that too. All the 7 character defects that that you are at your weakest point, because it's somebody that you love there with you. And for me, that's the hardest part, is just keeping the emotion side out of the business when I'm with my wife working. Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah. In fact, when I got in the fight with that lady, my wife was next to me. I gotta look into that. I think every blow up I had, she was around. No, I'm just kidding. I was doing so good.
No, that's really powerful. Thank you so much for that, because I think because you did say earlier that she sees potential in you and she sees what you're capable of, but then I'm kind of hearing something else, and then I think as a woman, you kind of want to support your husband and you want to bring the best out of them. But it just kind of got me thinking, like, which is more powerful? The mere fact that you just love them, no expectations, full stop.
Yeah.
Or is it that, because you see the potential in them? And I think you answered that really well. Thank you. Awesome.
Yeah, well said. But just in case, for those who are watching and listening, because I mean, what is he talking about? What's the 7 defects? What's the 7 deadly sins? What are the 7 deadly sins?
There's greed.
Greed, yeah.
There's lust. sloth, envy. There's pride. There's gluttony.
The last one?
The last one. Which ones have I said already?
Was it envy? Was envy the last one? No.
Oh, anger, wrath.
Oh, yeah, right.
Wow.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
And then those, it's on a spectrum. So it should have a virtue on the opposite end. Like if there's anger, there should be patience. If there's lust, chastity, envy, kindness, greed, charity. I forget what else. Yeah. But, so don't think just because you have that flaw doesn't mean that you don't have the virtue.
Yeah,
You-
it's there for
It's
the
there.
taking,
You,
eh?
you just have to work on it.
Yeah.
And if you are always on the virtuous side, don't get complacent because you could easily fall on the opposite end, and be on the that patient guy that's always patient and
then blow up.
Ooh.
Do you reckon our default is all on that end? Like our default without any, just as a human being, that we all start on that end of the spectrum?
no.
You don't think so?
No, I think
Like they're just in humanness with no societal influences, just as a human being with desires of life and an ego and all that. Do you reckon we start there?
no. I think if everyone is born, I think we're all born different.
Okay.
But it's some of us are born. No matter where we're at, we're always going to be on the bad end, and no matter where we're at, we're always going to be on the good end. It's just, and sometimes people are just born right in the middle, and somebody like me, I think people like I would never be. I don't think I would be at this podcast if I was on the good end. If I was born on the good end, I'll just be another regular guy. Like I wouldn't take the risks that I take. I wouldn't go, what someone would, would be good for Samoan people? Charging them $215 for food. You know what else would be good? If I take all my money and just put it in a restaurant, which has the smallest margins and the highest failure rate. I wouldn't be here if I wasn't born on that end.
See, I think we're going into part 2 now. That's interesting.
Yeah.
That's interesting. I just wonder if, okay, well, that's an interesting thought that that we're all different and have a default in a different place.
Yeah.
I feel like we all have to work hard to go to the other end and to stay on the other end.
Yeah. For me, it's hard to work on to be good. It's easy for me to take risks. My wife loves me and be like, I don't think you should do that. I don't think that fourth piece of cake will help you. There's people that are born on the opposite end, they are happy, they don't go looking for happy,
They just are.
yeah, they just are.
It's like a personality type, eh?
For me is if I find a little bit of happiness, I'll try to get more, or I'll go looking for it in other places.
Make it last as long as you can.
Exactly. Sugar. But I honestly believe if I wasn't born on that side, I wouldn't be here. I wouldn't open a Samoan restaurant. I'd be opening I wouldn't be in business. I don't think.
Yeah.
Yeah. Because, I didn't go to business school. I didn't go, but I'm still here, I failed academically. But I still have that, that ability to, be driven to accomplish something I know I shouldn't be. I have no business. Like my mom was right. You have no business opening up a restaurant.
You're like,
seriously.
I'm going to do it anyway.
Yeah, exactly. a smart person will sit there and go, okay, I don't have the business acumen for this. I don't have the temperament for this. I don't have the character traits. To be successful in this, and they'll stay away from it. That is absolutely the smart choice. 100% of the time.
Safe.
I wouldn't say
Safe or smart?
safe. I would say smart. No matter what choice you make, it's never safe. Yeah.
See, another one of those.
Yeah. No matter, you might think it's safe. It's not safe, bro. Trust me. It's just looking at something analytically or logically, versus somebody like me who's very delusional and think he can do things that he's not supposed to be doing.
So some of those character defects have worked in your favor then.
Yeah. But now it's time I have to work on the
Virtue side.
the virtue side.
Cool.
Because it's not good.
It got you there. Now we got to sustain it.
Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah, and it's good that you're on that side of the spectrum, of the continuum. I think a little bit of delusion is good.
Yeah.
Because imagine if you were on the other side, you would have been 5L, I think.
Hey man, that's full time, man.
You would have been collecting people's talents. Oh my gosh! Thank God you're in
They passed the for the time. Yeah. Another round, please. Play another song.
Quick fight.
Okay, one more round. Play another song.
Oh my gosh!
Awesome, man. Thank you so much, Henry.
You're so cool.
Awesome, Henry. What wasn't telling door. Henry, we always give our guests a gift, and we're going to give you a gift. We always do a caricature, a cartoon of how we envision our guests to be. This is on behalf of the Mandate team. This is for you, Uzo.
Sorry.
Awesome, man. Thank you so
Man,
much,
I think this is the smallest my ego looked on. Has ever looked at it. Man, you capture my. Just kidding. Sorry, whafkai ke lawa ala I loa ko a ingari, man. Whafkai fo I lau sungar whongar ka pukarame. Marwhele kua. Ala I loa ko a inga. Really appreciate this. Thank you so much. Thank you. Yeah, it has been fun, man.
Oh,
Yeah.
man.
Yeah, awesome fun.
What a cool chat, man. Also, is there anyone that you can think of? Anyone that you can think on the top of your head, like, oh, man, you should get this person.
Yes.
I've
been thinking about this the whole time. I want to see Darlene Tana.
Oh,
Is that her name? Darlene Tana?
Can you describe her?
She's the Green MP. That
yes.
yeah.
Which one is she?
Not the young one, is it?
No. I think they're trying to.
She the not the young girl.
Chloe Schwarber.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah, she's trying to get her out of Parliament.
Oh,
Yeah.
yes, she's the one. Yeah.
Yeah.
I know the one you're talking about now. Yeah,
Yeah.
Do you reckon she'll come?
and they're trying to get rid of her. And,
Yeah. And I think, man, that kind of resilience to stay in there, in to say, no, I'm not going to resign. You're going to fire me. Like, hey,
Wow.
I'm not saying that's what she's saying, but like that kind of to stand on that kind of what she believes in. I don't know. All I've heard is the side that the media is telling. I haven't really heard what her story.
Okay.
It'll be nice to see the other side, and I only want to, whether it's good or bad is not my thing to. I just want to see. I just want to see the tea.
Hear her voice.
This
Yeah.
is cool. This is cool.
Yeah, no, I reckon
Darling
that's
Tana, that'd be
that'd be
awesome.
awesome.
I'll hit her up. Oh, that's awesome. Also, man. But otherwise, thank you once again. Also, and like I said before, please check out Tala Restaurant.
Yes, please.
Yeah, please check them out. Amazing cuisine, amazing food, and we will find out very soon when we get there. But otherwise, also, any last words? Last words for the guests or the listeners? Any words of encouragement? Anything you want to share?
I think, tune in next time. We're gonna work on the virtues.
I'm out.
We're gonna the good side. No, I'm just kidding. If it's always progress, not perfection. I might sit here and talk about how I'm choosing to do the right thing, and but I'm not telling you, that you're not seeing me in everyday life failing, at doing the right thing, but that's what my journey is. It's all about progress, not perfection. So don't try to be perfect. It's okay to look at your flaws and work on it. That's all. You don't have to fix it. You're not here in the to fix anything. You just have to work on it. And little by little, hopefully something will stick. Yeah. Thank you so much again, and I really, really appreciate this.
You're welcome. Thank you.
Awesome.
Thank you so much. Please don't forget to subscribe. We look forward to your wealth and our comments. And as usual, Caroline,
Refine
unlock
and
take charge.
Hey, that's the 3-1 at the end.
Mandate.